I've called my story today Above the Storm, Moonlight, and I'm referring to it as a story of care in fragments. Initially, I was trained primarily as a philosopher, and I think the impetus in philosophy tends to be to give the whole picture, to give the big picture. And when working on concepts that have to do with things like climate change, I think it's very easy to be overwhelmed, entirely overwhelmed by the big picture. And so poetry for me is something of a remedy to that. It's a way that we can not necessarily try to grasp the big picture, but rather to be present in the fleeting moments, to be careful, to be full of care about the present and about our immediate surroundings. Excuse me. And this is something that I've not always been very good at, but I think that I've become a lot better at it, partly through the experience of raising an infant. That for me really changed the temporality. I think before that, a lot of these problems seemed like abstract philosophical problems. But as soon as we see ourselves in the wheel of life that incorporates generations, suddenly the problems are not so abstract. They're very real and very present. I've also included, as part of my story, a few recorded sounds. The first one that you'll hear will be, forgetting the name, in ultrasound, you'll hear 2 heartbeats. That's something that I recorded. And the second one is the sound recorded by underwater microphones capturing a calving glacier. And yeah, you'll hear the third one. So without further ado, let's jump in here. Winter, polyrhythm. The snow, a soft multitude, covers the city, first as pure form, then as formless white drifts. We listen and listen, ultrasound moving upon your body, mother, mater, matter, a living polyrhythm, 2 hearts beat, 1 mother drum, and then another. I long for the absolute, for one fixed rhythm to compose of all sound, 1 fugue, to tuck each snug hour in time, the way a half-rest sits safely among notes. But no, things have a way of making their own time, and in my futility, I settle for slowness. A blackbird calls, a tap drips, traffic lights change, daylight shifts, snowflakes drift, and a light in sonorous silence, and 2 hearts beat, 1 mother drum, and then another. Like all new love, Segovia coaxed the sweetest tone from trebling strings, a guitar strung with taut cat gut. I snip the umbilical cord, scissors whisper, flesh dangles, bloody, red, black, and birth divides 1 in 2, like all new love. The bedroom is a linen womb, moonlit muscle, blood, milk, lay bare. The body's inside is outside too, and birth is unity in separation, like all new love. We bundle you in everything, walk to the show, whispers of winter wind, take your breath. I check and check to see that you still breathe. Someone sings Joni Mitchell, you suckle and sleep, and part of you pours out of me in these lines from time to time. Birth is separation in unity, like all new love. spring. Cryosphere, a lullaby of melting ice. Humming, gently rocking, you rest in reverberations. Tell me things, rehearse animal sounds, whisper with me resonant songs until breath becomes rhythmic. From the redwood forests to the Gulf Stream waters, you make me happy when skies are gray. But I may as well try to catch the wind. Dreams are false light cast about in a soft cave. I lay you down in moonlight. You float on a sheet ice white. In Hornsun Fjord, an underwater microphone listens to glaciers melting. Effervescing ice-trapped air slips to surface. The hydrophone rests and listens, calving an ablation of fizzing cacophony. The hydrophone rests and listens and does not wonder if the glacier listens back, if the water may someday be glacier again, if everything might have been something other than what it is. My boy, do you hear the glacier? The way it cracks and fizzes, becoming ocean. My boy, when you sleep, do you dream this soft light? You wake and cry, I rise to rest you from your moonlight, to rock upon dark humming water, up above the world so high. You sail to the sky on the crest of a wave. But I ain't got no home in this world anymore. You drift again, water waiting to be glacier. I listen for the signals you send back. Swarm. Number of estimated individual insects on planet Earth. 1 times 10 to the power of 19. Number of MOS transistors, the basic pieces of computing. Number of MOS transistors produced by 2018. 1.3 times 10 to the 22nd. Honeybees waggle and spin to show distance and direction to nectar. Longer waggle, further flight, meaning bees keep time. 232 beats per second. 232 beats per second, measured against the sun's arc, wings whipping the sky liquid. Distance is the flesh of time. Time is remade with tiny manipulations. Copy, paste, save, delete. Memory, no longer a lived impression of the past, is a series of transistors that do or do not arc electric. A system of decisive pantomimes, open, closed, 1, 0, yes, no, silent wings clicking, instructing the stars. Data, dreams, infinite, swarming every future, and yet it cannot capture the only thing we know of time. Entropy is irreversible. Chronology fits us into the order of beings and ruins us. We are not made of enduring stuff, but crisp, fleshy fruit, tumescent and blush that falls to earth to rot. And perhaps this is it. Time is the matter of how things fall apart. The intricate little entropies that clothe the earth in soil made from disintegrated mountains will decompose machines too. The last transistor dissolving in spring runoff. Silicone, like any stone, becoming soil, settling, sedimenting, siphoned up by the roots of some future distant plum tree, blossom touched by future distant insect that uploads the nectar, buzzes up into the bright sun, and dances its way home. Canoeing the Milk River. 1. Muddy Milk River morning sky, Michael and I load the canoe, strap down tarps, slip from stony shore to water, boat grasping current, the knotted rope of rivertime. A line marks the minimal distance between an act of inscription and the place it makes. The river is moving. A raven flies downstream. 2. On the horizon, cumulonimbus clouds accumulate, roll dark. We land the canoe and nest in a cup of cliff under the blue tarpaulin, under bruised blue clouds. A horizon is absolute and absolutely porous. Wind slips in through soil pores, cottonwoods thrust up, dappling ochre mud, and then rain. Droplets patter soft earth, drawing lines, intricate rivulets of silt and sand that slide toward the ever-changing river. 3. Meriwether Lewis's diary, 1805, upon encountering the Milk River. The water of this river possesses a peculiar whiteness. Being about the color of a cup of tea with milk, we called it Milk River. A domesticated line, each movement becomes a thing. Each thing, already a word, is etched in place. A peculiar whiteness. The river that shuns all others becomes a cup of tea with milk, living water, distant ritual. A canoe moves bodies through space, the way a name moves bodies through time. 4. We hunker among hoodoos in the middle of a dead world at sunset. Driftwood fire flickers on sandstone strata, each humble layer, ochre and umber, 500,000 years in time. Cliff and column flutter as if the lumbering Jurassic beasts folded there have come to dance out the sun. Our fire burns at the bottom of this ancient sea. Above, swallows dip and swivel, limbed in orange light. They redraw the sky, drawing in the night. 5. Late afternoon, we paddle into Asinapi, land to wander a multitude scrawled in sandstone, each image etched in a fissure of cliff. See the line before you see the bison. The line makes space the way a drum makes time. This is not primitive bison, but line bison. It is made of the distance between an act of inscription and the place it marks. It makes this place. Finally, 6. Michael's dad pulls up in the old Dodge, cracks a crow's smile, lifts the canoe clattering onto the rack. The diesel chugs up the valley, sputters over the cattle grate and out onto the grid of gravel and fence. Windows open, river in our skin. We follow the sun's path, burning out on the horizon. Near the road, a coyote yips and listens, then slips through the barbed wire and out across the field. Autumn. My father digs after Seamus Heaney. Each clean spade rasp takes a slice of earth, turns clods of alluvial clay and potatoes. Rhythmic long rows of red Pontiac and golden netted gem. Rasp, heft, turn, my father digs. In spring, we calculate that each of us exhales enough atoms to circle Earth as sun-stirred carbon, to dissipate, to integrate into all new life, meaning these potatoes, my father digs, are partly made of you. In summer, the soil made of stars tended astral blooms that came and went, their roots like buried planets storing wet sunlight. Energy is eternal delight. And then our planet moved, and the garden was autumn. Rasp, heft, turn, my father digs, and after digging, circles back to slough the soil from russet skins, pile them in a rust-red wheelbarrow, atoms of us resting among the roots. Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests. Here and there, in the long rows, a split potato gleams wet, shining white as coming winter moons. And finally, Thanksgiving. Someone is basting a turkey. Honeyed carrots caramelize. We wait for the right time to tell you the cat has died. These days have the tensile strength of spider's silk. Hours gripped to pine, catch slivers of light, supple wind in soft green needles. Dead means no coming back to play, you say? I dig a grave deep and straight, spade rasping stones and roots, place the box in the open earth. Goodbye, we say. Thank you. Autumn tilts us from the sun. Small grief bends long light. Carrots, potatoes, beets, our little windows of life. Later, I tuck you in, my son. Outside, the wind blows. A spider sneaks indoors. Soon, night snow, the closed ground, marbled white.